Hi guys, Ian here, and this is the TRN Starfish. It is a 12mm beryllium coated diaphragm dynamic driver IEM, and the retail price for this is just $30 and it's a budget banger. And this is really a very nice budget IEM. So if you're interested to find out more, do check out the unaffiliated link down in the description below. So I've been testing this for about 2 weeks now, listening to classical, jazz, rock, electronic, using my desktop DAC, my portable DAPs, dongles, and my phone, and I compared it side by side with some of my other IEMs, budget IEMs. So I'm here to share with you guys my thoughts and opinions about this TRN Starfish. So let's begin first with the accessories. Now this is the retail box that it comes in. At the back here they show you some graph. I'll show you my graph, but it doesn't come with any specs, so I'm just going to read out the specs to you guys. The impedance is 32 ohms, sensitivity is 112 dB, and the frequency range is 20 to 20,000 hertz. Now inside the box you get some paperwork, this cable, velcro strap, and a whole bunch of ear tips. So you got 3 different types of ear tips. The white one, both of which are stock ear tips. The black and white are stock ear tips. So the black one is a little bit narrower in terms of the bore. So if you want a bit more bass, use the black one. So if you want something more balanced, use the white one. And of course you get the TRN T tips, and these are a little bit more premium feeling. The flange is a little bit more grippier, and it's more, brighter, I would say, in terms of the overall sound. The inner bore is a bit wider as well. So 3 different types of ear tips with 3 different sizes, small, medium, and large, for you to mix and match and try out and tip roll and see which one fits you. Now in terms of cable, you get a 4-core cable with interchangeable connectors. So you get a choice of either 3.5 or 4.4. So it depends on the source you're connecting to. So if you're connecting to a DAP, then you can use the advantage of the 4.4 balanced output. Or you just have a laptop or phone, then you can just use the 3.5 headphone jack. Now the cable is nice and plush and pretty, I would say, soft. Okay, and ear hooks are actually pretty serviceable, I would say. Is nice and soft as well, and the 2-pin connector is quite sturdy. Now one thing that's missing for all this is actually a case, but at the price of $30, I wouldn't expect them to provide a case. Maybe a pouch, but I find that it's $30 anyway. Alright, so now let's talk about the design and build quality of this TRN Starfish. Aesthetically, the Starfish leans towards more like a marine or oceanic motif. The faceplate has a starfish inspired design with flowing ridges and somewhat sculptured shell, as you can see. And it definitely stands out compared to many generic looking IEMs. The body is made of aluminum faceplate, and the inner shell is made of resin, and I would say it feels good. I mean, it's not I would say premium feeling. It looks okay, but for $30 again, I wouldn't complain with this build quality. Alright, so let's talk about fit and comfort. And after testing this, I would say the Starfish is fairly comfortable. It's not exactly fitting to my ears. I mean, it's not really ergonomic on the inside, but it does go into my ear. I mean, for listening sessions like 1 to 2 hours is still alright, but when it goes like 3 to 4 hours, then I'll feel a little bit of fatigue because of the back part here that pushes against the inner side of my wall, my ear wall. And overall, I would say it's pretty comfortable, but not 100%. Now in terms of the seal and isolation, is pretty decent. It's not stellar. The shell, as in the nozzle, is also not the longest, so it does go in my ear, and depends on my ear tips. The ear tips I use is the T tips. It's definitely not 100% isolation. I still can hear a little bit of my surroundings, But yeah, I would say it's not definitely 100% sealed. All right, so let's now talk about the sound. First, technical performance of these. In terms of soundstage and imaging, one of Starfish's more surprising strength is actually the sense of space. It's not a wide open kind of soundstage, kind of staging, but for a single dynamic driver, it gives a very pleasant, breathable, and open kind of depth for the soundstage. In orchestral or ambient tracks, I can hear there's a modest air to the halo of the soundstage, and I would say beyond the pins of instruments. Imaging is actually pretty decent as well. String placements, piano key separations, vocal positioning, all sounds pretty good. And especially for the mid-range here, it's actually pretty nice imaging and sound separation. But that said, it doesn't match or rival those multi-driver hybrids or those top-tier IEMs, which are definitely much better in terms of imaging and soundstage. There's a little bit of bleed in the highly dense mixes, and outermost edges of the soundstage is a little bit smeared if there's too much going on in the soundstage. Now, in terms of the detail retrieval and resolution, for its price point, I would say detail retrieval is good, all right? But that's just about it. If it's going to be a bit more expensive, then it's a bit iffy. But I'm able to pick out micro details like like finger slides on guitars, subtle reverb tails, decays of cymbals, etc. The treble extension is also one area where the driver does pretty well, though it's not razor sharp in extreme highs. So yeah, the dynamic driver actually shows some limits in separating very close simultaneous micro details, which compared to balanced armature IEMs or hybrid setups, but it is, again, it's $30, so I'm not expecting too much details and resolution from this. Now, the transient response is pretty okay for the kind of tracks that emphasize on rhythm, like, for example, drum fills or snare hits. The Starfish gives a pretty satisfying kick and decay without sounding too flabby or overly slow. Yeah, overall, I would say the transient response is pretty good. Alright, now let's talk about the tone and timbre. And the Starfish leans towards more of a warm and smooth sound in terms of its tonal presentation, with a pleasant fullness in the lower frequencies. And it actually avoids those clinical brightness tuning, and instead it gives a more forgiving, textured kind of tonality. The vocals are generally nicely, warm, I would say, with a slight forward body that is pretty pleasing to my ears. The upper mids and the lower trebles are pretty held back, I would say. It's not too aggressive or too fatiguing as well. So I would say in overall it's pretty warm and not so much fun kind of tonal balance, I would say. But in some very bright recordings, it can soften some edges, which may help both with listeners' comfort or reduce the sparkle depending on your taste. This is more or less like a fun but not sloppy kind of tuning, and it's got a pretty nice balance in terms of the tone. Right, now let's talk about the sound signature for this IEM, and I'm going to post my graph somewhere up here. Now, looking at the sub bass, the Starfish offers a pretty solid sub bass rumble for its price point. In tracks with like electronic bass or organs, you feel some of the textural weight to the track. It doesn't go earth-shaking heavy, but it delivers a pretty good undercurrent without becoming too sloppy in the sub bass. So I would say the sub bass is pretty controlled rather than too bloated. Now in the mid bass, this is where the Starfish shines the most. There's good punch, there's good impact, good body, and a good musical bounce to the response. The mid bass is actually pretty strong to keep the rhythms alive and engaging, but without overemphasizing and drowning out the mids. So it strikes a balance in terms of the mid bass, leaning slightly to the fun side, but it's not crossing over into the bass hit excessive type of side. So I found tracks with drums and bass guitars to sound really good on this Starfish. And I would say the mid bass is pretty textured and have some punch and weight without being over the top. Okay, now in terms of the mid range, is pretty pleasant, is warm, and is decently resolving. Vocals, guitars, pianos, strings, they're all generally well represented. There's a slight coloration towards the warmth. Female vocals are subtly cushioned, not too lean or not too clinical sounding. In complex or more complicated songs, I noticed a bit of congestion compared to some other referencing IEMs, but it's not too annoying for me. Now as for the pinna gain, the Starfish includes some pretty good presence to help the vocals and instruments stand out. It's tastefully done, but it's not exaggerated. I would say the energy is there, the presence is there, helps to boost and maintain the vocal energy and brightness. And in more complex mixes, I would say it stands out. But I did notice that in extremely bright mastered songs, this region here can be a little bit on the harsher side of things. So just need to look at the recording of the songs, but it's pretty rare in my case. Now in terms of the treble is actually pretty smooth. It leans towards more of a safe tuning rather than aggressive treble. It doesn't gives you that sparkle. Sometimes it does, but it gives you enough energy for percussions and cymbals to articulate, but it doesn't extend with that overly bright type of tuning. I would say the top end of this Starfish is polite but serviceable, and that's enough to satisfy those who wants the treble, though it's not super airy in terms of the extension, and it might find that it's a bit subdued, but overall I would say treble is actually pretty serviceable. Now let's compare this with some other IEM. Now comparing to the TRN conch, the conch is a little bit more neutral sounding, a bit more leaner. The Starfish offers a little bit more warmth, a bit more body and more fun. And I would say overall it depends, if you want something more reference sounding, more neutral, then go for the conch. If not, go for the Starfish if you want a bit more fun. And also compared with some similarly priced single dynamic drivers, I would say the Starfish is a bit more bass richness. I would say overly tuned kind of bass, but it's richer in the bass. But in some extreme details like treble extensions or overall resolution, it lags a little bit behind comparing to other IEMs, but I would say it's actually very rich in the bass shelf. Now against other hybrids, this is not a fair comparison, but hybrids or those multi-driver IEMs, Starfish obviously cannot match their micro details, driver separation and treble finesse, but in many everyday listening tracks, it does deliver a more forgiving and enjoyable experience. Alright, so let's conclude. I can say that the TRN Starfish punches way above its price point. For $30, this is actually pretty good in terms of the tuning, accessories, and especially for those who enjoy a warm, good-bodied and musical kind of the tuning without being overly ultra analytical and bright. Okay, so the strength of this TRN Starfish is the mid-bass, the forgiving tonality, and surprisingly pleasant stage for a single dynamic driver. While it won't dethrone high-end multi-driver IEMs ensure resolution or treble finesse, it does offer a lot of musical joy per dollar. So if you're looking for a fun IEM to enjoy across all genres without the fatigue, the Starfish does deserve your serious consideration. So if you lean towards more of a maximum detail, extreme treble extensions, or surgical transparency, then the Starfish may not be for you. But as a daily driver IEM, it is one of the more convincing offerings in the budget competition. So yeah, I would say this is my recommendation for those casual listeners. Alright, so that's my overall thoughts and opinions about the TRN Starfish. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up, and also please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. My name's Ian. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again in my next video. Cheers!